Squeaky's on the windowsill, king of the throne. Charlie's got a feather toy, she's in her zone. Doobie's in the kitchen, knocking stuff down. 3 cats ruling this crazy little town.
Hi guys, happy Sunday. What time is it even? Oh, wow, I'm getting a late start. It's 10 o'clock. Oh, I feel kind of ick today, but it's because pollen. It's that time of year again, dudes, dudettes, peoples, humans, maybe cats, sometimes cats. Yeah, definitely cats. Oh, when Venus Goblin was deciding that they were a they practiced in she and he as well. And then I said, is this person a she, a he, an it, a cat? And she goes, and Venus says, most definitely, they're a cat. Oh, I was like, oh, I get that. I get that too. I says, you know what? I identify as a cat too. And then I go, bleh, bleh. Hey, I went, no. No. My dad, he tells this joke, and it's kind of a dirty joke. It's actually a really dirty joke, but it's kind of a tongue-in-cheek. Well, I guess. I don't know. That's kind of a dirty joke in itself, tongue-in-cheek. But, two guys are walking down the road, and, they come upon this dog, and he's just cleaning himself. You're just going at cleaning himself really good, too, you know. He's going to have shiny down there. And, guy looks at the other guy, he goes, man, I wish I could do that. The other guy looks at him and he goes, well, I bet you could if you were really nice to him. Nice way to start out a Sunday, huh? With a dirty joke. That's just the way Aunt T rolls. I turned the filter off today. No, I didn't. Just had to tell that one. These chickens over here. Of course, it's 10 o'clock in the morning and they might be laying eggs. That's all I know. They're just over there, just I'm like, wow, guys. And gals, actually gals, if they're chickens laying eggs. We know. We know. Duh. I told you I feel kind of this morning. They're telling me there is very little pollen out there right now. Except for I wore a pair of black pants to Mom and Dad's to go help Mom with her computer the other day. And there were splotches of yellow dust on my pants. You tell me there isn't any pollen hanging out. And the past few nights, I've had to sit around and have the heater on. It's been cold. So whatever, including diatomaceous earth, whatever's been in the vents this whole summer, is up inside my nose. I need to find my allergy pills. I know where they are. They're hanging up in a bag over there. But don't you dare, you national weather people, tell me that there isn't any pollen out there when I saw it. Oh my gosh, people. Really? Oh. So, I'm kind of... I'm crocheting. I got birthdays and stuff coming up. So I'm dealing with making presents. Making gifts. I wish I could make presents. as in be there, but I just don't. Maybe Christmas. I just don't know if that's in the cards this year. There's stuff on my end that has to be dealt with that I need to be available for. So I just don't know as if a South Carolina trip is in the cards for the rest of the year. And I'd probably tell that to Pam in Messenger, but she'll see it on here anyway. And she may agree with me after the events that she knows about. Well, everybody knows about it. I said it, but I need to be available. I mean, I could be a total turd and just say, nah, nah, nah. But what if they'd said that to me? I'll tell you what, absolutely everything I have, including this house, I wouldn't have. And it isn't financial. It is needed Dad to help me sort things out to be able to do it. As in up here. He's more of a business person than I am, definitely. And I needed him to help me out with that end of the deal. And if he'd have just sat there and went, nah, 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 I'd be living in state parks in a tent in the middle of winter time. So, not that I have to, because that's not, again, that to me is a, how did I say that? Oh, get to is a privilege. Have to is a demand. I get to be, available for them. It's just the right thing to do. It's just the right thing to do. Guys, I really need to get my hair like professionally trimmed. I'm tired of it looking like it's like I really need it professionally trimmed, you all. I'd love that. Whatever. Nobody around here does it, so for myself. They are visiting today, having guests, so I don't get to go over today, which is okay. But I probably wouldn't have gone over today anyway, because they need me to mind my business for a while until they say help. So that's what I do. I mind my business until they say help. Say help. And summer's winding down. It's about to become fall, as in probably tomorrow. It's going to be 75 today. Woohoo! I still have my heater on right now because it's cold in here. I'm cold. It's like 60 something, which I probably could just put a blanket on, to tell you the truth. Oh my gosh. I was sitting here yesterday. Must have been a new hatching because of bam, 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 all over me. And every time I walked through the house, all over my legs. And then I lay down in my bed and I noticed on my red dress, all over that. And I'm like, so I grabbed absolutely every piece of bedding that I found that seemed to be, I hate this word because it sounds really gross, infested. And I threw it in my washing machine and I put it in hot water and put bleach in there. I don't care what's in that. I put bleach in it. My beautiful purple dress is all of a sudden starting to fade, by the way. It was beautiful when I it was like dark purple, light blue, and white. And I was just turning into purple. Somebody didn't set the dye in that very well. But anyway, I took the sheet that seemed to, because I looked down and like in this area like this, I saw 10 of them. I'm like, this sheet is getting washed. So I threw it all in there with the hottest water I could. I got my Dad's probably gonna say, turn it down. But I've got my hot water on to the highest it can go. I don't remember how high that is, but I just turned the knob until it wouldn't turn anymore. So I threw it in there with hot water and bleach. Whatever was on that sheet ain't on that sheet no more. What's on that sheet now is purple. It's in there drying though. I could have hung it up over here, but since they seem to have hatched on my bed, I have it drying somewhere else where it doesn't seem to be as many of them. And I know it's really gross they're in my bed, but the cats like to lay with me. So, but as I walk through the house, as I walk through the shadow of the valley of death, or the whatever, as I walk through the house, there are less and less getting on me. But it's also cool in here, and they like warmer weather, I think. Whatever. This is the dress I'm talking about. It was nice, beautiful, dark purple, then blue, and then white. Every time I wash it, it just starts fading more and more into just purple. And they didn't set the dye right, or I don't know what they didn't do right, but I am going to have a purple dress. That's okay. You know what? What are you two doing? What are you two doing? I know, Doobie, you're scratching all your little friends off onto her. Oh, I gotta get some more Capstar. Oh, what was I doing over here? What was I doing over here, y'all? I think I'm gonna have cheese sticks. You know what else I'm gonna have? I'm gonna come back over here and get to cheese sticks. Because you know what? I feel like having popsicles this morning. Just random colors. I don't know why. Maybe it's just OCD or something like that, but I always get 3. Like, that's my number, 3. When I do popsicles. If I do 4, that's too many. If I do 2, that's not enough. And then I have to sit here. Not on days like today, because days like today are chilly, but, well, actually, more like on days like today. I have to sit here and I have to wait for them to start to melt. And then I can eat them. And I go in this order. Okay, we got probably a strawberry one, a banana one, and a blue raspberry, or blue punch. I like the banana the best. So I'll start with the blue punch, then the pink, and then the banana one. Least to best. And I like the mushy, and I like the water at the end when it's been all melted after you ate all of that ice out of there. It's just a weird food ritual I have with these things. Sorry, I forgot I was recording and I got into bed and then this I'm not making as a gift, but I am separating. Now I got this stuff and it is not the same thing as embroidery floss that you would use for embroidering. But this stuff, look at all of those. And what I'm doing, they're 2-strand. It's hard to tell on this light. They put you down. Right? It's hard to tell in this light for you guys. But they are... come on. Let me do it. It's not going to. Because I'm telling you all about it. So it's going to be like, ha ha. They have 2 strands to them. So, with a teeny tiny hook that I think I better... Oh, there it is. Itty bitty teeny tiny hook. Aunt Tia is making a... It's called a granny rectangle. And what that is for is my mom gave me this shirt, which happens to be a medium, which I do not wear medium shirts ever. Even if my body was a medium, I still wouldn't wear a medium shirt because my arms are not a medium. But he's one of my favorites, Oscar. So I'm going to, up and down the sides, I'm going to do something else with the sleeves. I'm thinking about taking this hanky, which I've already started stuff on a million times, and cutting it into a triangle and making that into sleeves. So I'm reimagining a t-shirt just because Oscar the Grouch. Okay, let's just admit it. Aunt T loves Sesame Street. I've always loved Sesame Street. I just do. I mean, I love the characters. I told Pam the other day, I says, man, just a few years ago I was Ernie and now I'm Bert. I was all childlike and doing the little kid stuff and, you know, whatever. And then all of a sudden, I like oatmeal and pigeons. Except for the pigeons aren't pigeons, they're cats. Oh. My throat hurts a little bit this morning, too. Probably has to do with the fact that there's no pollen out there. Freaking liars. Oh. So I chose to start out with the eyebrow brown. Now they said he was associated with purple, fuchsia, and orange too. Not sure about the purple and the fuchsia. Maybe it just goes together with the color scheme. I know that the original Oscar was this color orange. He was orange. I don't even know why they changed it. But where do they get the purple and the fuchsia? You add black into that and you got Halloween colors. What the heck? I don't know. You know, one time, I was wearing a Tasmanian Devil shirt. You know, Taz. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. Somebody walked up to me and said, how dare you wear a demon on your shirt? I said, how dare you mind my business? And I said, I happen to love Looney Tunes. And they says, you happen to love demons. And I says, you know what? If you're so obsessed with demons, go back to hell where you came from. They tried to convince me that Looney Tunes, the cartoon, was representing demons. I'm like, yeah, okay. whatever. I mean, the dude's name is the Tasmanian Devil. Those are actual animals. They don't look like them. The first time I heard that, though, first time I saw an actual Tasmanian Devil, I was so sad. I was like, they really don't. They don't look like him at all. Why does he got a name like that? So that came to mind because these could be considered that too. If you're going to be a wacko weirdo. Now, being Sunday, I'm going to say, yes, I do believe in God. I don't believe these are symbols of demons. I believe what God tells us are symbols of demons are symbols of demons. I think that's just a cartoon. mm. Mm. It's like having a drink of Kool-Aid. I of course, eat more of these in the summertime than I do in the wintertime. But I do. I do eat cheese, but I eat certain cheeses. It's weird because those cheeses with the yellow in them, cheddars and stuff like that, bother my stomach. I am lactose intolerant, but it chooses when and where it wants to do that. Milk is a no way in heck. So if I'm going to have milk, I better be prepared. Ice cream is usually a no way in heck. I can have yogurt, but yogurt has acidophilus in it. In certain cheeses, mozzarella and Swiss, I can eat the heck out of them. But any of the rest of them, I better be prepared. Here we go. So my stomach picks and chooses which ones it decides that it doesn't want that day. I'm like, all right, I just be prepared. mm. Mm. These are something else. They're very sweet. Like I said, it's like eating a bar of Kool-Aid. If I want something sweet, I'll grab one of these. 3 of them. Again, it's a weird food ritual I have. I don't know why I have it. It's just, it has to be that way. So going back to crocheting with this teeny tiny stuff, there's a certain pattern that I want to do, and if it works out, she's getting a few of those too. Because she said, I need some of those for my room. When I started showing them to her, she says, I need some of those for my room. Like, duly noted. See, I'll take a mental note. Like, I'll watch her videos and just say, I really need this. And I would like that. Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden, out of the blue, she stopped thinking about that thing. And she's got it. Usually it has to do with a craft. And it's because I take mental note. I sit around and I collect information. As soon as I get enough information, then they get what they want. But it is so hard for me to keep secrets like this. I showed Sterling yet another one of her gifts. She goes, she's gonna laugh. This one arrived in the mail yesterday because I ordered it like last minute. And I was like, I have to tell somebody. So I told Sterling. Part of the thrill in that for me, somebody in Pam's immediate vicinity knows most of what's in that package. Well, no, actually, Sterling only knows 2 things that are in that package. She doesn't know all of it either. The two things she does know that's in there, she says, "Mom's gonna love that." Yeah, this isn't even called. It's not even called embroidery floss. It's called friendship thread. I mean, I suppose you could take it like the candle wicking. Oh, I'm taking my stitches out. You could take it like the candle wicking and try to, but it's kind of weak. It will rip at certain spots. I better go see what that noise was. What that noise was the cats knocking stuff over. Squeaky and Doobie looking for food because they're insisting I didn't feed them on time. I don't even know what time it is right now. And I'm like, you guys, Squeaky and Doobie. Squeaky always had an empty tummy. He's always been my hungry boy. But now Doobie's hungry too, all the time. Like, Charlie sits over by. Well, I don't know. Did we just see that they were sitting together? That's where Charlie sits most of the time. And I think, do you eat all that food all day long? No, Doobie scooches her over and eats it and then runs away and looks for the wet food. What is wrong with these animals? It's not like they're starving to death. Squeaky, yeah, but Doobie is not. She's being a glutton. And poor old Charlie, no wonder she don't like her. She go over there and stick her face in her own food, eats like 2 bites of it, and then runs over to everybody else's food and takes it from them. I'm like, where did you get those manners from? Seriously. Of course, I think they were saying that she was the runt, and from birth, if you're the runt, you have to fight for your food. So it might be just, for her, lack of a better word, instinct. I know there's something stinky about it, the little brat. But they were, yeah. Like I said, I think they said that she was the runt. So, imagine, she's going to be a big old fat cat's what she's going to be. Lana said, name her Teeny Tiny. It just did not flow off of my mouth well enough to rename her that. I thought Jerry because she looks like Tom and Jerry. But then I thought, and then I know somebody who passed away and his name was that, and that would hurt somebody to have to say it. So I'm like, you know what? I guess the name Doobie is sticking with you. Recently, I've changed it from Doobie Doobie Doo to Doobie Doobie Don't! Like, you're not a Doobie Doo, you're a Doobie Don't! Doobie No! Little Daredevil and everything else. Oh. I hope you're having a good Sunday. I hope Mom and Dad enjoy their visit. They will. They love their visitors. They love the people they're visiting with. So one's a minor, so I'm not mentioning them. Okay. A related minor. Not just some random kid. Because that sounded really bad. One's a minor. Well, what are you guys doing? So now it says on the forecast that it's supposed to be 70, not 75. We'll see what happens. I had a whole bunch of, not a whole bunch of stuff, but I have stuff coming to me for winterproofing the house again. I have a couple of thick, clear tarps I can, at least to the window in the front, staple on the inside and the outside. I don't think I have to do both sides, but we'll see. Because the window in the front's usually the one that leaks the most. I got this weather stripping for around my door. It's clear, but there's 3 rolls of it. And the reason I did that is I just want to make sure I got the door covered, for one thing. Yeah. Where'd it go? Probably my hair. Oh, anyway, I want to make sure I had the door covered. But there are gaps. So what I wanted to do is to go around the gaps on the door on both sides. As in, on the inside, so when I open it and close it. Last year that blanket helped a lot, but it was in the way. I had one of those magnetic insulated blankets over top of the whole thing, but it was kind of in the way. It was weird in the way it was stapled on and whatever. So this time I'm trying it with this weather stripping. Now I'll go get the weather stripping in just a second. I have to check on, I actually have a grilled cheese in the air fryer. So when I go check on that, I'll get it for you. It's like a, I don't know, PVA or PVC, or not PVC, because PVC is what my pipe's made out of. Is it PVA? I think PVA and PVC are very close to each other. I'll read the package. I thought they said these things were nocturnal. It's only nighttime in other parts of the world, you guys. Yeah, well, I'm going to have to get everything off this bed and clean it. That's what I'm going to have to do, because it did reduce them when I did take the one sheet off. So, and no, they don't burrow into your cloth, but they do try to live in the seams and the folds. But they can't, like, actually dig in. That's what Google said to me. Oh, I never did show you, like, my haul from Dad's closet, but I don't really feel like digging that all out right now. I feel like doing what I'm doing. If I felt like digging all that stuff out, I already would have. And a fly. Ah! I hate that they have 10,000 eyes and can see what I'm doing. Get out of here then, fly. Hello, McFly. I got the stuff. I didn't open the package yet, but it looks like this. There's three rolls in this stuff in there. It's just called weather stripping door steel. Let's steal a door. Seal. There are 3 rolls in here. And I'll open the package for you. Because when I get my, what is that thing called? Staples for my stapler. I will be stapling these on because I do not trust the glue on it. I never trust a glue because I've never washed these walls. And they're not going to stick. The reason I did that, I got it wet because the sticky won't stay. Now it's rubbery. And there's a lot of it. Oh, it smells like permanent marker. I haven't plugged that dude in a long time. Let's see, does it work? Wow, it still does work. And here, I'm doing it on that side and this side. On all of it. And then what I want to do, oh yeah, that's going to have to come off, is around these edges up here where it looks like you're supposed to have insulation on it anyway. So, and then see here. See how it flaps. And then I have this giant gap, which I'm just going to get some spray foam and put it in there. Because that's just between the door and the wall. And when I broke into my own house, because I locked my key in here and there was nobody to help me, so I kicked my door in. Well, Dad came to help me fix it. And the insulation that was inside of there was actually in the way. Because he had to glue some pieces together. And we had to put like toothpicks and extra lumber in it to fix it. So that insulation was in the way and I just never replaced it. So I need to get a can of that. I have to ask him for some. Because he's going to see this video and I'll say, I got to buy some great stuff. That's the stuff we get. That is a brand that we get. That is one of my crochet hooks I've been looking for way over there. You know how I say shoe glue? To glue stuff together? Oh, I could glue that on with that. That's expensive though. I'd rather do the... Well, staples are expensive too. But, great stuff spray foam. And I think usually he gets the red can. I don't know why he gets the red can. I'll have to ask him. But usually it's the red can he gets. So those are 2 brand name stuff that we do use, but those are tools. Honestly, I usually say I don't care what the name on the label is, as long as it works. But when you get into tools and craftsmen and stuff like that, Stanley, you want, if you can, to get name brands. Snap-on's a little... I think Snap-on is a good one too. Sound like my sandwich is ready, but it's got to cool down, so I'm going to leave it in there. I don't remember. I just said three names, and I might have said 2 names in a row. But yeah, if you can, and a lot of times, some old guy that went to heaven, had a whole toolbox full of them. And you can go to the resale shops and find them, and you'll find surface rust on them. You just scrape that off with a piece of sandpaper and they're fine. But if they're that old and they still work, you can trust that brand. And like I said, I usually like clothing, and like I don't care if I have a Ford or a Chevy as long as it gets me from A to B and sometimes C. Clothing does not have to say the Gap or Gucci on it. And my food does not have to say Nabisco. I don't eat the labels, but when it comes to tools, name brands usually are pretty reliable, and I would go by that. However, the cheap ones also work. My screwdriver that I still haven't been able to locate, I got it from Temu for $8. And it's I've had it for years. So I just don't feel the need to be searching for it right this instant. I want to do crafting. That screwdriver and I don't even remember what I wanted that screwdriver for. What do I want that screwdriver for anyway? I'm going to have to consult yesterday's video to figure out what I wanted that screwdriver for. Oh, Aunt T. That's another reason I try to tell you guys a whole bunch of stuff that may seem boring to you. Is literally, I'm taking notes for myself. And I will go back and watch my videos and say, oh, that's where I put my glasses. Oh, it's in the cupboard over there. Oh. I'm surprised I wasn't vlogging at the time. I was like, I'm surprised I don't know where my screwdriver is. But what did I want the dang thing for? I still can't. I don't know. It is so frustrating. I didn't watch it yet. I'll do it later. One thing I do want to do is there's that board in the middle of my door. And something I could use my screwdriver for too. I want to take that out of there. I want to take it out of there and put a regular window in it. Like one that you would get for an RV that has the screen in it. Because that way I can open that window. I can have light in that window. I can open that window and I don't have to have the door open. I could put a fan in there. And just, I think that would be a good replacement as an RV window. And I think they're like $80 on Amazon. Dad'll kick my butt if he finds out I'm trying to buy something like that too. He'll say, well, we could just go to the Restore. Well, they don't always have those at the Restore. But there's a window outside that opens like these, but I don't want another crank window. I want an accessible one that I can open. Neighbor's got somebody over visiting. It's cool because like the grandma and grandpa live right there, and in kitty corner their daughter lives over there, and I'm like, that's cool. The kid's a minor too, so, and I don't even know his name. I don't need to. That's none of my business. I'm not related to him. He's not my kid. I would watch out for him, like if I was driving a car and I saw him in the middle of the road, I'd stop the car and, I'm sorry, I'm not kidnapping your kid. I'm setting him in your driveway because he was in usually I don't take responsibility for other people's kids, but like when there are other people's kids around, Aunt T's eagle eye. I got my eye on every single one of them. And if I see some sort of, I shout the loudest I can, hey! And people are, oh! And somebody grabs them. And if there isn't anybody around to grab them, shame on them. But I do. I will. I'll grab somebody else's kid. I'll be a stranger and grab them and take them out of danger. Not that I want to grab them and take them home with me. I want to grab them and make sure they don't get hurt. One time I was at a wedding. My daughter and my niece were in the wedding. And I was in the wedding too, I think. But anyway, we were at the party. And I was sitting away from the crowd because I cannot stand crowds and parties and stuff. But I was there because I was there. And this little kid come over to me. It was a fall theme, and there were these fake leaves and stuff. But they were real candles. You know where I'm going with this one, right? He's over there playing with the leaves. Pat, pat, pat. Play with the leaf. Pat, pat, pat. He, he, he. Grabbed the leaf and tried to stick it in the candle. And I walked over. Because I'm sitting there looking at him like this. I'm like really close to him too. And he grabs that leaf and starts going towards that candle. I grabbed the leaf out of his hand. I said, "Where's your mommy?" These people were so cool. Alana was, this was a person I'd worked, they're since now divorced, I think. But I worked with her. And her name was Jen. Anyway, I can't remember what his name was. All I know is everybody was like, "Are you sure you want to marry him?" Apparently he did not. Or she was not sure. But, Alana is autistic. Alana was there. They had a room full of balloons and Alana cried. She freaked out and cried. You know what they did? They took every single one of the balloons out of that building and shoved it in somebody's car. Just for her. I'm like, wow. Now we lost contact because I quit working at Walmart. And last time I knew she was working at the vet in the same town that I'd worked at Walmart. But I don't know. Sometimes I just lose contact with people. They need me for some reason. And it's not like they're using me for like my wallet or, they're not like being leechy, usy or anything like that. But it's just, that season is done. I need to move on. And you're part of that season. I hate to say it, but goodbye. I'm like, okay. So most people are just like, they're here for a while and then they're gone. And I'm just used to it. It's always been that way. Always. That's why my friendship with Pam is weird. I didn't think we were going to be friends for the rest of our lives. I thought, okay, she graduated. We're not friends no more. She is the only person in school that I went to school with that I have contact with. The rest of them, I don't care. The rest of them, whatever. Jocks, I don't care. Well, I think one of them became a cop. There was this one teacher, Mr. Morrell, he was in there trying to recruit us all to go into the dang Marines every time we go into class. Marines, 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 Marines. My dad had been a Navy man, and I'm like, Marines? Really? My thought, even at 16 or 17, was, you're that small that you have to be a Marine? As in, endowment. I don't even know if Autumn remembers this, but she was in, this Pam's sister. She was in his class after I'd graduated, and I'm pretty sure it was her. She got this fart perfume, and she stuck it on his chair and left it there. Yes, it was Mr. Morrell, like the mushroom. I'm like, weird. I didn't like him. He was cocky. And it was always Marines, shoving the Marines down there. It's like, dude, if I wanted to be a Marine, I'd look into it myself, but You do not have to advocate that to me. Friend, you are not my friend. You are my enemy. And you are now dead. I just squished your abdomen off. You can't be alive still. There. Haha, you're flat. You're dead. Sorry. The mighty hunter. I'm like that with just about anything. It's interesting that you bring it up to my attention. That's cool. Maybe it's something I didn't know about, but don't jam it down my throat until I believe what you believe. Religion and politics as well. If you are a Republican, and I'm not, you being a Republican and pounding it in my face isn't going to change my mind. It's going to make me not like you. And it's going to make me want to take a lot of revenge on you. And again, religion's the same way. If you believe a certain way, like those people were believing those were demons, or representing demons, they tried to shove that down my throat, and I'm like, no. You go back to where you think that they came from. Leave me alone. Pam, and Pam is the only Christian I know of that didn't shove it down my throat and tell me that she didn't like me if I didn't believe her way. She told me after I converted that we love you whether you're a Christian or whether you're what. We love Aunt T. So that's the way I like people to be. Is okay, I'm glad you believe that way. I don't happen to believe that way, and you're not going to change my mind by forcing it. To me, I call that the A or the R word, and it rhymes with grapes. It feels like a personal invasion, and it feels like you've ripped open my soul and entered it without my permission. And I will call you the R word that rhymes with grapes. To your face. If you do try doing that. Anything. I don't care that the technical definition of that word is to do with overpowering somebody with your body. If you're trying to overpower somebody any way, emotionally, mentally, or physically, it's that word. Because when that person's done, when you're done doing that to that person, they feel like you physically did it to them. They're still up here that is emotionally going through, oh my gosh, what just happened? So it's because I've honestly been and to me, yeah, you forcing anything on me is the same feeling afterwards. Ick and ow and why and what did I do and who are you to tell me I have to, and who are you to me? So anyway, there's one of Aunt T's tangents. Hey, I wanted to see something. Is this the same stuff? No, it's not. But I wanted to see something. There's one of Aunt T's tangents. If you force some... Oh, that one's got 3 strands and tiny. Okay, that's not exactly what I wanted it to do. So yeah. That's another place where Aunt T just kind of just doesn't take people's crap. Because I did before. I learned my lesson. I don't have to take it. I don't have to take it from you. I don't have to, not you. When I say, I probably explained this before. When I say you, it's you in general, not my viewers. I'm not pointing my finger at my viewers. It's Joe Blow who decides that they should do that. One thing that I did escape was childhood. Tragedy with an adult that decided to do that to a child. That never happened to me. It almost did once. I was playing hide and seek. I was about 8 years old. I remember the pair of jeans I was wearing was my favorite pair of jeans, and it was green. And we were playing hide and seek, and there was adults in the house. Like, he just turned an adult, and years later I found out he had been to my sister, my sibling. And I was hiding in this shed in the yard, and he walks in the room. I'm like, okay, I know you, whatever. And he looks at me, and it was a creepy look in his eye. He goes, "Your zipper's undone. Do you want me to fix that for you?" I grabbed my zipper, zipped it up, said, "Nope, I can do that myself," and I ran away. Being a kid, I thought, that was weird. Why did a grown-up think I'm 8 years old? I can zip my own zippers up. La la la. Come to find out, I escaped that. But, so that never did happen. One thing counselors always ask me, though, is, did your dad? And I'm like, my dad would never. It's like the most common thing I've ever heard anytime I go to counseling. Did your dad? And I'm like, never. Ever. He may have been something else otherwise, done something others, like smack me up one way or another. But, I'd explained yesterday, most of the time I deserve that. Another thing that we got was, we can't tell which one of you did it, so you're both getting it. And again, I explained yesterday, I'm okay from that. I'm not accusing anybody of hurting me in my parent situation. Mom and Dad, I'm not accusing you. I'm explaining to the public that at my age, that was expected. That was expected of the parents to do. So all these people that are my age going, oh, my parents. You know what? It was beaten into them to do it to us. And it's generational abuse. And it is... So I will say, yeah, it was abuse. But they were taught to do that and basically forced into that situation. Some parents probably did not. I cannot imagine Pam's mom and dad doing that. I cannot imagine that. They're just really good people, laid back, love their family. They don't. There's conflict within the family. Every families have that, but it's just a different dynamic than what I grew up in. But most generally, again, that's just the way it had to be. I'm not saying she was a good girl all the time. Nobody is when you're a kid, really, unless there's something going on. But, and I'm sure she probably got in trouble, and I'm sure she probably did get her punishments too. But in school, I never even heard of her getting a detention. She didn't backmouth anybody. She didn't confront any. She was scared of me. Which I gave her a reason to be scared of me, because I gave everybody a reason to be scared of me, because I didn't want to take their crap. So, and I approached her basically in my mind, oh, you're another person that's going to hurt me. Because everybody in the world did hurt me. And she proved to me she wasn't going to. Again, that's why we're friends. But that's why I approached her, like, in the offense. Because I was defending me already. And she thought I was going to beat her up. I would have beat her up if she gave me a reason to. Actually, I've never had to. beat a person up. I had somebody else beat a person up. I started to beat someone up. I had a party at one time, and I'm very, very, very large at this point. I mean, and here I am eating. But anyway, I'm very large at this point, and she's standing there, and it looks like she's wearing 5-year-old jeans. Somebody's five-year-old kid gave her these jeans, and she's got this little flabby blubber hanging over the top of it. I said, "You get your fat A away from me. I don't want you in here. You're a minor." And she goes, "Who's calling who fat?" Nobody. The witnesses or anybody don't know how I got up off that couch as fast as I did, but I had her in my hand and then suddenly goes, "Stop!" and pulled me away. She goes running outside, and apparently somebody else outside didn't have anything good to say to her either, because I heard bang, boom, crash. And the gal says, "You hear that? That was her head up against the freezer." I said, "Good." But even when I was that big, I could be from here to there, and you don't even know how I got there. I don't know how I got there. But no, I've never had to physically hurt somebody. It's because I looked like I could. I was always defending myself. The first thing I did was basically visually threaten somebody. Yeah. And if they could get past that, they're cool. What a conversation to have on a Sunday, hey? Nice, beautiful, sunny Sunday. I still don't know what I wanted that dang screwdriver for yesterday. One of my friend's ex-husbands. I was at their house, and he started insulting my daughter under his breath. Within my earshot. Fat, lazy, da-da-da-da-da-da-da. I grabbed him by the chest, and I had my fist this close to him. And she came over, and she grabbed my arm. She said, "Stop!" So that's the second time I got stopped from doing something like that. And then she looks at me. She says, "You know why I stopped you?" I said, "What?" She says, "Because it's my right to punch him, not you." So you could have had him afterwards, but it's my right to. Again, that's her ex-husband. I had him right up against the fridge. And I was like, "You want to say what about my kid? You don't mess with other people's kids." So, I guess Aunt T went a little sinister today. That's my new word, I guess. I've been watching those true crime things again. Pam's been watching women that do away with other people. And I kind of want to. But then again, I'm more into watching the podcasts and the actual police interrogations and stuff. But I thought I heard a horn out there, and usually if Dad arrives, he beeps his horn. I did have to quit for a while watching those. I have to be very selective on the ones that I do watch, because people are disgusting. And the ones that I skip over are the ones with crimes against minors, because that's just heartbreaking, because they will go into detail, and it's like, I just don't need to know what happened to that poor little being who struggled to fight for their freaking life till their last breath. You know, so if it has to do with a minor, I skip over them. I start to watch the ghost stuff again too, the haunted places of Michigan, and that kind of stuff, because I just want to find out where where people think are these things are happening, and I'm like, you know what? The entire world is haunted because no matter where you walk, somebody was there before you. How many thousands of years old is this earth? Everywhere is haunted. They see you when you're sleeping. They know when you're awake. They know when you're taking a poop and taking a shower too. If you believe in those things. If you don't, I happen to believe in them because I told you before I had been diagnosed schizophrenic. It's not auditory schizophrenia. It's visual. So in order to justify those visions, I believe in ghosts and spirits and stuff like that. I did mention that my uncle passed away. The 3 days, and it is part of my migraine too, the 3 days before we found out, and then they said that he'd been gone for about 3 or 4 days when they found him. Grandma and Grandpa and Uncle, Grandma and Grandpa and Uncle, Grandma and Grandpa and Uncle, Grandma. I just couldn't quit thinking about them. And my Grandma and Grandpa have been gone a long time. I just couldn't quit thinking about them. And I had mentioned him in my video the day before, saying he's not very aware of my vlogs, so I can post a picture of him. Is that paranormal? Is it psychic? Am I allowed to believe that now that I'm a Christian? True fact is, and I think I could even talk to Pam, of course, Pam, it would be my only witness, she could sit there and go, yeah, she said it. Yeah, she said it. But she wouldn't because she's not a liar, but am I allowed to believe that? So to justify that type of stuff, yes, I believe in ghosts. I'm going to share this with you too. My personal experience with dying. I had my hysterectomy, and somebody came over and asked me to help them garden because I was healing. I was at home healing, and they wanted me to trim some gardening stuff. Come and sit down and pick some leaves or something. Get out of the house and, breathe some fresh air. So I said, I'm just not feeling good enough to do that. I'm tired, I'm hot, I'm cold, I'm tired, hot and cold and tired. She says, that's a fever. You just had surgery. Now, this is my sibling, which is weird. She saved my life just to shit on it. Excuse my language. And she said, that's a fever. So she calls my mom. So they get the ball rolling and get me to the emergency room. Come to find out, the next day, I'm laying in ICU. I'm sitting there in the ambulance because they're like, we got to transport you from this town to the other town. We don't have the facilities to help you out if something happens. And I go through the night and they're doing this, prodding me and poking me and all sorts of stuff. I had a blood clot in my abdomen. A big one. And I apparently was very close to meeting God. They had to do a surgery to save me. I was in the ICU the next day, and the nurse says, you were almost gone. Like, if you hadn't got here when you did, you would have been gone. I'm sitting there laughing and joking around and flirting with the guy in the back of the ambulance, and Man, we gotta be close to being. No, we're only 10 minutes out from where we were. No, we gotta be close. And then we get to the town, and we're taking a long time to get to the hospital because he says, we're in town. I says, well, why is it taking so long to get the hospital? Construction. So I'm just like, just joking around. And the sibling even told me, she said, you smelled like you were gonna go. And she said, you were very close. I'm going to tell you, and I don't know if it has to do with the fact that I was addicted to the game. I can't play it anymore, but when I was under getting my surgery, there was no light to walk towards, which indicates to me, obviously since I'm here, indicates to me it was not my time, because if it was my time, I would have probably seen that light. What I saw were nondescript people that I didn't know, but we were all the Sims. Every single one of us were the Sims being controlled by somebody else. And I actually saw the back of the head, and it didn't have, I couldn't tell if it was a male or a female, but the back of the head of somebody at the computer playing this game with these random people, laughing like I would be if I was playing it. I wasn't a character in the game either. I was watching this all happen. Maybe the computer was the light. We were the Sims game. So go watch The Matrix. Because The Sims, to me, looks like a Barbie doll game, a digital Barbie doll game. It's The Matrix. Yeah, Auntie's talking crazy today. So that was my near heavenly experience. I've almost gone many times, but that was the closest I've ever been. So, again, you choose to believe what you choose to believe, but I believe what I experienced and what I've seen. And my schizophrenic visions. Like I said, I don't know if I'm allowed to acknowledge them now that I've switched to Christianity. Twilight Zone stuff, huh? All right. Auntie's getting weird. Auntie wants to craft. Actually, Auntie wants to take a nap. So I'm going to go. I'm going to say see you later. Have a good day. Have a good Sunday. Thanks for being here. Thanks for watching. See you later. Bye.